Ready?
Ready?
GameFront!
Update!
GameFront!
Update!
Live GameFront update.
A live GameFront update. They asked, we give.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're generous.
We try.
We try. Hey guys, live GameFront update time. And yeah, we got a couple of requests whenever we do streams. Like Mitchell and James, why don't you do a live Q&A on Twitch? So we did one a long time ago, didn't we?
We did one a really long time ago.
With Zach, and I thought it turned out pretty well. I think people enjoyed it. So here we are again, doing another live Q&A. And before we get into the Q&A, while we wait for people to fill up, let's start with a regular GameFront update.
Yeah.
So I guess the first thing we should talk about, I'm doing a Dark Souls 2 walkthrough, if you don't know.
You are?
Surprise, surprise!
Where could somebody find it?
Well, James, if you take a right on the internet at www.street, you'll reach GameFront Walkthroughs, our YouTube channel. And that is where I'm doing my Dark Souls 2 walkthrough. So if you have not subscribed yet to the GameFront Walkthroughs channel, what have you been doing the last year or two?
I didn't know there was a second channel.
You have been uploading videos to that second channel.
Those are coincidental accidents.
So go check out my Dark Souls 2 walkthrough if you haven't yet. I'm really happy with how it's turning out so far. People seem to like it. I'm loving the game, and yeah, that's basically. And we just recorded a couple Dark Souls 2 videos today. One which I think you'll be very interested in. Check out Tuesday next week on the gamefront.tk channel for what I think is going to be one of the best Gamesters games of all time.
It was good.
It was pretty good. And yeah, what else? Anything else you wanted to talk about, James?
Well, I wanted to hear about the Nintendo event that you
That's
went
right.
to. Were you under embargo for that? Or
No. The game, they're already reviewing it. I went to a Nintendo event for Yoshi's New Island. And
it was just for that?
Yeah, it's funny because it was so obvious, painfully obvious, that it was not meant for the media. It was meant for these child celebrities that they brought in. They brought in like maybe 30 child celebrities to play the game. And while they're giving their presentation on what the game was all about, they're like, "So guys, that's Yoshi's New Island. Just want to be clear. It would be really awesome if you guys would use your social networks and your outreach to talk about how awesome Yoshi's New Island is. Not to say that you have to or anything, but come on, we invite you in here.
Please do it.
Please, all your millions of subscribers that watch Nickelodeon."
Did you recognize any of the stars?
I didn't. I don't know if you know this, James, but I'm not in the target demographic for those Nickelodeon kid shows.
No, I was almost on one.
Yeah, you were.
God, it was close.
You auditioned for one, right?
Yeah. Well,
are you allowed to talk about that?
I don't know. What I will say is I'm not going to say what show it was for, but I was auditioning to play Art Garfunkel, which would have been cool because I'm a big Simon & Garfunkel fan. I don't think I would have had any lines because they didn't ask me to talk or anything. They just wanted me for looks. And the guy who got it is somebody that I have never done show. I did do a show. He's taught a couple classes at the West Side Comedy Theater, and he was in a group called USS Rock and Roll, which is on my top 5 all-time improv teams.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and his name's Tony Llewellyn. If I'm gonna lose it to somebody, I'd like it to be a friend. And the truth was he was supposed to get the role. He already had it, but he had a scheduling conflict. And they had like one day to fill the role, and they were like, "Oh, it's yours." And then he figured out how to fix his scheduling conflict.
Now, boo. Now, the thing I have to wonder, did they choose you to audition for it simply because you have the hair of Art Garfunkel?
I don't know. I think it might have been partly that. It was definitely Hollywood's all who you know, and I'm gathering my social network for that. And I happen to know a guy that knows the casting director there. So because of the fact that I looked like him, he was just like, "This is the only guy I got for you," and threw me over there.
All right. Well, that's pretty much all we were planning on talking about. So we're going to use this time to open the floor to you guys out there in the interwebs.
Oh, they are out there.
They are. You see them right there? Yeah.
Hey,
you're looking good today. But yeah, if you guys have any questions for James or I just did that.
Oh,
sorry, I meant to do me or James or I or James. Let us have it. We'll answer whatever you got for us. And if you don't have any questions, we'll just bullshit.
Yeah, and somebody says I'm the splitting image of Art Garfunkel, and it's true, except the time where I was supposed to play him was in the 80s, where he's a little bit older and he starts balding, so like, I'm not quite balding yet. I have these, there it is. This goes back kind of far, but it hasn't changed where my hairline's been. In fact, when I was a little kid, in probably 6th grade, or maybe even younger, 5th grade, I had kids. I was not popular, and they would say that I was balding because of how far back it went. It's like, no, I'm not balding. I'm in 5th grade.
Did you beat them up when they said that?
Oh yeah, like a lot of times, like over and over in the face.
Yeah.
No, I didn't beat them up for that. For other things. Mitch, how is the fear of mimics coming along?
It's coming along very poorly.
Yeah, you've told me
because I don't know where they are.
You don't know where they are, and you haven't even seen one yet.
I haven't seen one. I know they're in the game.
But
I've heard confirmation.
But you've lost a lot to mimics, even though you haven't encountered them.
No, I mean I've lost one chest. I broke one chest because I was freaking out because I didn't think that I hit the chest. I had slashed at it once and it didn't look like it hit. I hit some things that were in front of it. But I didn't think I hit the chest. So I'm like, okay, well, it seems like three hits is what you get on a chest before it breaks. So I hit twice, and on the second hit, I got rubbish. Because when you break a chest, you get rubbish from it.
That sucks.
And, yeah.
Any advice on growing your first mustache? Well,
Yes, James.
There's 2 answers. The first one is dishonest. And what it is, it's just a matter of going, hey, and just forcing the hair out of your lip.
That's usually what you do when you're constipated, James. Are you confusing?
I grew a mustache in my pants. Honestly, I couldn't grow facial hair until I was like 23 or something like that.
Really?
And I used to have like a goatee. I would be able to grow here. And this is just something that I started doing maybe when we started at GameFront. It was the first time I ever grew a mustache.
No. What?
Yeah. I used to wear a fake mustache, and I used to do a character, and I thought that the mustache was so funny looking that I wanted to grow it. And now that I can, the first time I grew it was out of pure comedy. And then I stopped laughing at the mustache, and it's kind of grown on me. I think it is funny, but I also kind of like it.
Would you say that GameFront has played a role in making you keep a mustache?
Well, it made a man out of me, so yeah.
Yeah? GameFront has been such a transformative experience for all of us. Mm-hmm. Mitch, why are you so terrible? Ha, that's snail mail. It's just like, he calls me terrible all the time.
Oh.
No, but in all honesty, Mitch, I am really enjoying your walkthrough of Dark Souls 2, although it pisses me off when you call life gems soul gems. I'm sorry. You're right. It pisses me off too, even though I didn't even realize I was doing it. It keeps me awake at night. Hello, Ouija the Wise.
Oh, it's not soul gems? It's just gems?
It's life gems.
And you call them soul gems?
I call them soul gems because I apparently am too used to... Does Skyrim has soul gems, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they have soul gems that you fill to have your like magic powers.
Yeah. So that's why I call them soul gems. I'm too used to Skyrim.
Mm-hmm. Somebody bought a PS4 and they're looking for a game.
It's not somebody. It's Camo356, James. You should read the names.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Camo356. They'd like to play COD Ghosts with us.
We don't have COD Ghosts for the PS4, so that would be difficult.
Do I not?
No, you have it for your PS3, I think. I don't think we got a next-gen version of Call of Duty
Ghosts. I think I might have paid the extra to get it on PS4.
Oh, yeah?
I think so. In fact, I do know so. So maybe we can. I haven't played much of Call of Duty Ghosts.
I haven't either. I don't really like it that much. I think the multiplayer in that is actually worse than Black Ops 2.
Yeah, but what is your favorite? Because that's beating around the bush here. What's the best game for Camel 356 to purchase for PS4?
Okay, so PS4, I would say your best bet right now is Towerfall Ascension.
That's not expensive.
It's cheap. Resogun is exclusive. Like most of the great games on the PS4 right now are
indie
online.
exclusives.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of the games that are on the PS4 that are good are also good on the 360 and PS3. As far as exclusive go, Infamous Second Son is coming out. That's going to be amazing.
We think it's going to be amazing.
It's most likely going to be amazing.
Come on, where's the
Killzone,
reviewer in ya?
Killzone Shadowfall was pretty good. You liked Killzone Shadowfall, right?
I did. I mean, it was good. I wanted.
It's good.
I wanted something amazing. I haven't played an amazing game on either of the systems yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't think of my favorite game on there.
Yeah. What else? I don't know if anyone asked, but what happened to James vs. Games? Nothing happened with James vs. Games. What happened was we got busy. And, well, no, that's what happened this week. I got busy. What happened last week was I accidentally deleted the footage of James vs. Games. We did a Monster Hunter James vs. Games, and first of all, I know you guys are mad at me because I fucked up James vs. Games, but let me just say it was the worst James vs. Games I think we've ever done.
And not worst as in challenging, it was just boring as hell.
It was really boring. James,
it's such a slow-moving game.
Not only is it a slow-moving game, but James didn't really get a handle on the controls for about halfway through it, and even when he did get a handle on it, he didn't want to go into the water. I'm like, James, you have to go into the water.
I'm afraid of water.
And there was a long time limit on it, and just it was not a fun episode of James vs. Games. We tried to fake it as best as we could, but neither of us was having very much fun.
But I did think it was, of all of them to not make it, I'm glad that's that one. And hopefully we don't lose this week's. The one that comes out on Tuesday, I think, might be the best one ever.
Yeah, it was a really good episode, and there's going to be some great Heaney faces that I'm going to get a screen grab of.
I was sweating so hard that you can see it in there. It was like raining from my face.
James has his forearms on his pants when he plays the games, and at the end of it, his pants had this, like, it was like someone with really skinny buttocks sat on his lap. And really sweaty. Really sweaty buttocks.
A really sweaty butt. Yeah.
What else? Just got here. Have they talked about James doing a Dark Souls 2 playthrough? You were just talking to me about your plan for doing Dark Souls 2 playthrough.
Here's the thing. I definitely, because I'm an expert, I need to make sure I'm guiding not just you guys, but somebody with me through it. I need my partner in crime. I think it helps my walkthrough a lot. Mm-hmm. So Mitch is going to probably come down a few times, and we're going to bank up videos. And I'll release 2 a day just so that I can consistently release them. But I'm also going to be having, to make sure that I keep having, this is just me and Mitch have talked about it. I haven't shared this with anybody else. But I'm going to probably have Morgan come by because he lives really close. Probably going to have Jack come by because he lives pretty close. And then Charles doesn't live very close, but if I can talk him into coming, just so that I can have a lot of people coming by, I want to make it one hell of a great walkthrough.
Yeah, and this will be after I finish my
as soon as you finish, that's when we will start.
It's unfortunate because James has Dark Souls, but he doesn't want to play it right now because
open it.
Look how strong-willed this guy is.
Well, it's a battle of 2 different sides of me. One, I'm afraid of it, and I keep trying to hide it. And the other side of me is like, oh, what's in Pandora's box? Maybe it's not scorpions that destroy the world. Is that what's in Pandora's box? I thought that it was like dark scorpions or something.
I don't know. I just know you don't open it.
Yeah, you don't open it.
Don't open it. If you have a Pandora's box at your house, just keep it in the closet.
Yes.
What else? So something to... do we ever plan on bringing back the GameFront versus Frontliners videos? I think we are planning on doing stuff with Twitch, right?
Yeah. I don't think we're allowed to really announce too much about it, but we've got a lot of Twitch stuff coming down the pipelines.
Yeah. James, are you working on any new songs on the private channel?
I haven't really been. Actually, what's funny is the group, the improv group that I'm in, it has just been amazing. And the guy that is our DJ for the show is a fantastic musician and has played in, had his music on TV and stuff like that. He's producing an album for us. So some of my comedy music's going to be on the album. And then Bear Supply's got a couple of songs that... I'm not supposed to say any of these things. That's the end of that. I'm working on some comedy music. Shh. But that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. And we have a show that there's a group. I might have the flyer in my pocket. We have a joint show coming up on April 24th in LA.
What's this?
This There is some really funny things that I have encountered on the bus today. Let's see.
Public hearings on proposed changes.
That's about price raises on the Metro, which obviously I'm going to try to make it to that so I can say, no.
No.
I don't want price ranges. They make it at Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. that you have to be there in order to tell them your opinions on it, which Saturday mornings are a hard time for me to wake up because of Friday nights.
But this is important.
Gosh. Well, anyways, the band is called Schwarzeneggers, and they dress up. They're all in different outfits from Arnold Schwarzenegger in different movies, like Conan, from Commando, and they play songs that are all about Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. So it's a comedy band, and we're going to be the opening act for them at the Good Herd, which is fun.
That's cool. Have you heard of the game Broforce?
No.
It's a game that I think just recently came out, maybe on early access. I'm not sure if it's officially released yet, but it's a 2D action side scroller, and you can choose your character. I'm not sure if you choose your characters, but every character is like a play on a famous action hero, and they have weapons that are the style of and they're very, very over the top. Like I think Bruce Willis has, or the Bruce Willis one has like twin handguns. I'm not sure exactly, but check it out. It's actually a really cool game. Mitch, what anime are you watching nowadays, and how is that VA stuff going? The anime I'm watching nowadays is pretty much the same anime that I was watching from last season, because I don't think any of the anime from this season are very good. It's mostly Golden Time, Kill la Kill, what's that? Nagi no Asukara, and some others.
What language is that in?
That's Japanese.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. I didn't understand it.
And the VA stuff is the ball's in my court for the VA stuff. I need to pay for a demo. I haven't scrounged up the money yet, and so nothing really happening. But I'm excited to announce the Toradora just got an English dub. It was just announced. It's coming out in July. I happen to do a lot of background voice work on that anime.
Oh, awesome!
And it's very small. You might hear, if you're listening really closely, you might hear me, yell out in the crowd something.
Go to GameFront.
Yeah, exactly. Just some subliminal messaging to lead people to GameFront.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, but I'm really excited because Toradora is actually one of my favorite animes, and even if it's a tiny, tiny part, I'm really excited to be part of it.
What does I don't like DN Angel mean when you see
DN Angel is an anime. It's supposed to be Angel, I believe. But I didn't watch much of it, so I can't really comment on it. Stick of Truth, what do you think?
I love it. I like South Park. I'm not the biggest. I mean, I'm a pretty big fan, but I don't get a chance to watch a lot of them. Every episode I like that I do watch, though. The game, though, when I first started it and I found out that it was turn-based combat, I was like, oh, I hate turn-based combat. I hadn't played a turn-based combat game since, I think, was Eternal Sonata turn-based? Yeah.
Yes, it was.
That was the last one I played, and I liked that game, but I always think that I want it to be real-time, so I feel like I'm really controlling stuff. And Stick of Truth is turn-based, and it completely changed my perspective. As soon as I'm finished with that, I think I'm going to play some other turn-based game because I'm loving it.
Yeah.
You have a lot of time to think about your moves, which makes it a little challenging when you're doing the walkthrough videos because you want to make sure that you maintain entertainment value. But the actual gameplay is really enjoyable to me.
That's cool.
I feel like it might be a little too easy. Maybe I should have put it in hard mode because I have only died, I think, once in the whole game, maybe twice. And one of them was just because I absent-mindedly stepped on something that was like an instant kill. And I didn't realize I could walk around it because it looked like that was the only path to go. Mm-hmm. But I love the game. It's hilarious. If you like South Park, you'll like it. There is some, regurgitated humor that you see.
It's a lot of regurgitated humor.
I mean,
but, if you like
funny.
South Park, if you like South Park, then you're going to like it.
If you were somebody that enjoyed Austin Powers and then thought to yourself, I want to watch the second Austin Powers, still laughed, and then when Goldfinger came out, saw it and enjoyed it.
Goldmember.
Yeah.
Goldenfinger is a different thing.
Those movies were all funny, but if you ask me, it was the same damn jokes over and over.
Yeah,
and I laughed each time.
It's the same joke used in a different scenario.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I feel about the South Park game. It was really enjoyable, and I liked it. And I'm sure there's probably even more regurgitated humor than I know, because I haven't seen all the episodes. But I'll be damned if it didn't make me laugh.
Yeah, I've played. I think I've gotten up to the alien spaceship part. That's where I am right now. And yeah, I kind of echo your sentiments.
There's some of the most offensive things I've ever seen ever in that game. It's insane.
Yeah, in the alien part.
Yeah, that was a little much. I don't want anything censored, but that was something that offended.
In the European version, I believe it is censored.
Yeah. Well, I don't like the fact that it's censored. I like to be offended, but I am offended.
All right. Just hear someone in the background yell praise the sun. It's funny. If you, I don't know if I should say this, but I don't think it really matters. But there's, I believe we did an extras or a blooper recording in one of the Toradora episodes where we were in a crowd, and during one of the takes, someone in our wallet group, that's the background group of people who are the crowd, someone yelled "fuck the police," and so he's like, "All right, we're gonna do one more take. Just that person yell "fuck the police," and we're gonna put it in the blooper reel." So yeah, there's gonna be apparently there's gonna be a blooper reel on one of the DVDs, and it was really funny. How's Dark Souls 2 comes out here tomorrow. Dark Souls 2 is fantastic. It is, if you believe it or not, I think it's actually the hardest of the Souls games so far, at least in the very beginning.
And from the small amount I've played, I think it's the best of them. I really, and maybe it's just because I like it and I just want something fresh, but when I was looking at the different UIs, all the new game mechanics that I've seen, I like it a lot more. Mm-hmm. It is more difficult, like the parrying and the backstabs, but I feel like those are more enjoyable things.
Yeah. They made a lot of early game changes that really make it a lot harder when you start out. Like, for example, the Estus Flask thing. You only get one Estus Flask at the beginning of the game.
It's horrible.
It's really bad. And then you get more Estus Flasks by finding these shards, and they're usually not that well hidden. If you explore, you'll find them and you'll be able to help out. But if you don't explore and you just rush through things, you're gonna be in trouble.
It makes me think, because I thought that it was more realistic than when you have to kindle a fire in Dark Souls. But I thought, why does it have to be an Estus shard? Couldn't it just be you found a flask? Like, why does it have to be a broken one? I'd like to not have to suspend my disbelief and just be like, oh, I found a flask. Now I have an extra flask.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. What else? I'm afraid of James getting mugged on the bus after that story he told on the Starbound show. Any new mugging stories?
It's all the time, Mitch. It's all the time. You know what? This is absolute insanity. This was in Venice, and I mentioned it briefly in my South Park walkthrough. But I got back from Chicago on Monday, did some recordings, was exporting some stuff, went to the beach, hit the sand, walked and watched the skate park, because I love watching the skaters skate. Ow. Then I went and got a drink and dinner at this place called Mickey's, who was sitting right behind us, because it's these booths. But Matt Stone was there. And he lives in Venice, and I've seen him before, but this was like, I was just like, I want to talk to him at a South Park. But I didn't. I left him alone. And then while we were there, this is the crazy thing. I follow Venice 311, and back it up a little bit. All of a sudden, people start coming out of the places across the street, and they're all looking down the street. And there's like cops coming down the street, and there's a helicopter, and this place has like a completely no glass window, so I'm leaning out trying to see, and I couldn't see anything. So I'm with my girlfriend. She gets up, she walks out to the street to look down because everybody's like taking pictures. She comes back in, and she's like, I don't see anything. A couple minutes later, I start checking tweet. Somebody checking tweet. I was checking the tweet, and so what happens is, there was somebody at the Venice skate park that assaulted a male for his medical marijuana, all right, with a skateboard, hit him with a skateboard. Then after beating this guy, he's unconscious, then attacks the guy's girlfriend and has a chainsaw. Has
What?
a chainsaw on the beach.
What?
Now, I don't know how that's even possible, because I was there literally 10 minutes earlier. And I didn't see anybody with chainsaws there, but there are chainsaw jugglers out there, so I could imagine that maybe he grabbed a chainsaw from somebody.
Intercepted it as he was juggling?
I don't know. I wasn't there, but I did read the tweets, and that made sense of why there was helicopters and cops. But the guy had a chainsaw, and he was, I guess, threatening to use it against the guy's girlfriend, who was already unconscious.
Was there any reason to mention that you saw Matt Stone? He wasn't any part of the story?
He wasn't part of the story, except the fact that was the first thing when I sat there. I was just like, it took all my might, and I try to leave people alone.
That's good. They appreciate that.
They do. They really, really do. And I did leave them alone.
Mm-hmm. That's good. People are asking about a boss in Dark Souls 2. I don't want to mention it because it is a spoiler. Opinion on Thief. It's not great. It was a disappointment, and I think we talked about this a little bit, but you were there with me when we came out of the E3 demo for Thief, and I feel like I was the only one who came out of that demo hyped up on Thief. Like I was excited about it. It looked awesome, and then I started playing it, and there's just so many little things about that game that really pissed me off, and yeah, it was disappointing. I think I've already talked about Thief in a GameFront update, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. What else? I hear it's twice as many bosses and twice as big compared to Dark Souls 1. I can't verify that yet, but here's the thing. This is something that I've noticed about Dark Souls 2 when compared to Dark Souls 1. One of the things I really liked about Dark Souls 1's world is that it's very interconnected. It's very almost circular. You know what I'm saying?
Dark Souls 1's very circular.
Like you have the Firelink Shrine, and from the Firelink Shrine you can
kind of like you're butterflying or flowering.
Yeah, you go one area, and that area is connected to a bunch of areas that are connected to a bunch of other areas
that bring you back to the Firelink.
You back to the Firelink Shrine. It's very much circular almost. Dark Souls 2, from what I feel so far, it's more like a spider web almost. Like you have one path over here that leads to 4 different areas over here. Then you have one path over here that leads to 4 other areas over here, and they have one path over here that leads to 4 other areas over here. They don't really connect. Mm-hmm. And I mean it's different. I kind of preferred the world feel of Dark Souls 1.
From what you explain and from the very little I've seen, it reminds me more of the Demon Souls architecture.
Yeah, it very much feels like Demon Souls, where you go down one path and it's 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, 4-4, and all that stuff. But yeah, it's still great. I just really like the world design of Dark Souls 1. Okay, what else we got?
Any plans to be back in Texas for an improv show? The truth is I get booked for those things last minute, so I wouldn't know until right before. But I have been invited to be in the Out of Bounds Austin Festival, but it's too expensive for me. I don't get paid. They don't pay you. They give you a little bit of money to do those festivals, but it's not as much as it costs me to go down to Austin to perform and get a hotel. So I end up spending probably $500 to perform, and they'll give me $50 to do the show, which is nice, but I can't justify the money spent in going down there.
Yeah. How goes
when
it?
I do the college shows, I get paid big bucks, so if they offer that, I'm over there.
How goes it? Simple question. It goes well, I think.
It goes great.
It goes great. We had a great day playing some games here.
Yeah, one of my favorite days coming over to your house, Mitch.
Yeah. And I'm happy. I've been playing Dark Souls 2 all week. It's funny, coming off of Thief, I would record 4 episodes, and it would feel like 6-7 hours just recording those 4. Even though those episodes are probably shorter than the episodes I've done for Dark Souls, but when I record a Dark Souls episode, it's I'm like, where'd the day go? It's 7 o'clock already. And yeah, it's been great. I've been having a great time recording Dark Souls 2. And yeah, what else? Oh, anything else? How goes it for you?
Oh, that's
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Explain the butterfly effect, please. I mean, have you watched the movie The Butterfly Effect?
Well, here, when I was saying butterfly, I was actually thinking about flower petals, because in Dark Souls it goes out and then comes back in, and it kind of feels like it in itself has a giant circle with all these other circles that are connected. The butterfly effect, on the other hand, is the theory that a butterfly that flaps his wings on one side of the world could create a dust particle that creates a storm, that creates a hurricane, and that butterfly effect can make huge changes.
Right.
So it goes to show that every little tiny thing that you do can affect the world in ways you don't see. So perhaps smiling at a stranger could actually lead to world peace one day.
And that is your philosophy lesson from James Heaney.
Or farting in an elevator could lead to chemical warfare in the distant future. I don't know. Butterfly effect. Sorry, that was bad.
So next time you get a choice of whether you should fart in the elevator or hold it in until you get out, just think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Mitch and James live together? No. We both live with our respective girlfriends.
And we swap sometimes.
Yeah, girlfriend swap, just to keep it to keep it interesting. Have either of you played One Finger Death Punch? I have played One Finger Death. Have
you were telling me about that. I haven't played it.
Well, I think Ron was telling us about it.
Oh,
or maybe it was Phil.
No, it was definitely Ron.
Yeah.
Or Phil. It was definitely Ron or Phil.
It was one of the two. Yeah, I really liked it. I was actually thinking about doing a James vs. Games with it, but we got Dark Souls 2, and that's obviously a bigger priority. And we also got Towerfall. So maybe in the future we'll do a One Finger Death Punch James vs. Games. I really like that game. It's very, very simple, but it's well made.
I can't speak on it.
Hirka. Hi, guys. First time tuning in. I freaking love your videos. Huge props. Thank you so much for not only tuning in, but also saying nice things about us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. What's a realistic... Oh, someone also said, big question, will the streak end this year? The streak, I guess, referring to the Undertaker's streak of going 21-0 at WrestleMania. He's facing the Beast, Brock Lesnar, this year. But I think he's gonna... I think he's... The streak is going to go on for as long as Undertaker is still able to wrestle. I think he's got at least 2 more years in him. Mm-hmm. So I think it will continue.
Unless they get new scriptwriters. It's fake, Mitch. It's fake.
No, James. The Undertaker is really strong. He's actually... legitimately beating up everyone at WrestleMania.
I'd like to see The Undertaker go against Kimbo Slice and just see what happens.
Actually, you know what? I would like to see that too. Undertaker is no joke when it comes to boxing.
Neither is Kimbo Slice.
He's actually, I think he's undefeated in pro boxing. Kimbo Slice is.
No, is that true?
Yeah, I think he's still undefeated.
I thought he lost once against somebody when he went into. I forgot. I don't remember.
I mean, he's been awful in the UFC.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So boxing, he's still undefeated.
Yeah, I think
he's awful in the UFC.
Yeah.
God. I am always living in fear that one day I'm going to accidentally challenge Kimbo Slice. And he'll take me up on it and punch an eyeball out of my head.
I'm pretty confident that Kimbo Slice would beat you regardless of UFC, or kickboxing.
I think he'd pop an eye out if I was thumb wrestling. You've seen that video, right?
No, I haven't.
He punched an eye out of a guy once.
Kimbo Slice?
Yeah.
Why would I ever want to watch that video?
I just watch it over and over to remind myself never to cross him.
Do you think the game mechanics in South Park are too simple and RPG players are ripped off? No.
That was my first instinct, though. Like, that's why I didn't want to play it. I was like, this is too simple. But I've enjoyed it a lot more than I thought. In fact, I enjoyed it so much, I want to go back and find other games that have similar styles. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the honest truth is I think that combat is not the primary focus of that game. No. I think the primary focus of that game is to deliver fan service to the South Park fans. And I think it succeeds in that. I think the combat, it's simple, it's easy, but it's funny. I love it when Butters gets his hair lit on fire. It's like, yeah! But yeah, I like the South Park game. I think it's great. How far am I in Dark Souls 2? I'm 19 hours in, I believe, and I've beaten the first great soul boss. I've lit the first primal bonfire, and I'm working my way through the Huntsman's copse right now.
So if you're 19 hours in, and it's twice as long as Dark Souls 1, and it took me over 500 hours to beat Dark Souls 1, you're not even 10% yet, Mitch.
I don't think they mean that it's twice as long as Dark Souls 1. I think they mean the world itself is twice as big as Dark Souls 1. But yeah. And who knows? Do we still keep in touch? We get asked this every single time we do a GameFront update, I feel. The last time I talked to Zach was in February for my birthday. He wished me a happy birthday and he apologized for not being able to make it. And I was just talking to you outside about how we would like to get together for dinner and catch up.
Yeah.
Sometime soon.
I'd like to. I haven't talked to Zach in a long time. Yeah. I have tried to call him a few times, but I still have the same wrong number. I'm wondering if one day that wrong number will connect me to Zach. I keep dialing it.
Let's see. Will James do a death charity count for Dark Souls 2 as you did in Dark Souls 1? That's right, didn't you? So you give money to charity for each death or something?
I did. It was. I don't remember how many deaths it was. It was a long time ago, and my memory's faded.
Okay, so I am planning on powering through Dark Souls 2 over the weekend. Wonder if I can do it. I don't know. You would have to be pretty good. From what I'm hearing, the game is at least like 60 hours long. Oh god, 60 hours long. Oh god, that's a long time to play a game. But it's all right. Weird Al or Dane Cook in a fight, comedy off, and a math contest. James?
Well...
That's a great question.
Wait. A comedy off and a math contest?
In a fight, comedy off, and a math contest.
So who would win in each?
Yeah.
Well, I think Dane Cook would beat Weird Al in a physical fight. Not that I'd like to see it. In fact, I would tell Weird Al to tag me in, and I would take his ass kicking for him.
What if Dane Cook then tags in Kimbo Slice?
Oh god, I don't want to fight Kimbo Slice. If you're watching, Kimbo, I'm sorry. I don't want to fight you. Period. But I do think that Dane Cook would lose in a comedy off and in a math contest. Why in a math contest?
Why in a math contest?
Yeah, that's the real question.
You're not going to give me an answer?
Well, I just think Dane Cook he's not as old, so he's not as smart.
He's not as wise.
Just like you and me.
True. You do have years of wisdom on me.
Every day I get smarter. You might too, but I'm ahead of you by a lot.
You've lived many more years.
Many
more days. Mm-hmm. Mitch, quick, I don't have to do what you tell me to.
Yeah, just read it out louder. I'm sure nobody would ever write it down on the other end, and then Zach would
Zach. Who's better at Dark Souls 2? I mean, by default, I would have to say I'm better, simply because James has not really played.
But I haven't died nearly as many times as you.
True, very true. You're on your way though.
I don't think so.
And I think that's pretty much it. How much more do you want to go?
How much longer?
How much longer?
Well, I mean, this is pretty much when we said we were going to stop. I don't think we should stop so abruptly, but we did say we were going to stop at 4:30.
Let's get to the next 5 best questions.
Yeah, the next 5 best questions.
All right, make them good.
Make them really good.
James, can you talk about that Adult Swim thing?
It was an untitled project that had a star attached to it, and I can't talk about it.
All right, so that one
when I see it on TV, then I can talk about it.
That one doesn't count.
Yeah.
Here's my question: do you guys watch any speedruns, and what do you think of Twitch Plays Pokemon? I only really watch speedruns when they're on the Awesome Games Done Quick thing on Twitch, and because I don't know if you know this, James, but someone on that stream beat Punch Out and Super Punch Out blindfolded. It's you haven't played either of those games, have you?
I mean, I've played Punch Out.
Yeah, blindfolded.
I can't. Why? Why would you play it blindfolded? And how would you even?
They listen for the audio cues and they memorize the timings of each attack.
Wow.
It's pretty
that's
impressive. Yeah. And as far as Twitch plays Pokemon goes, I think it is a huge waste of time. But, I think it's kind of cool that people are coming together for their love for Pokemon. And, there's never less than, 15,000 people that are watching that stream at once. It's crazy. Whoever thought of that idea is, rolling in cash right now. Because it literally goes on 24 hours a day, and, there's always 15,000 people watching. It's crazy. So that's one. James, what current show would you most want to guest star in?
Gosh, that's tough, because I think that people are going to think I'm an idiot. But I would really like to do... I love Workaholics. I can't help it. It is so dumb. It is so
Isn't
dumb.
that a show that someone said you look a lot like one of the guys on?
I look like the curly-haired guy from it when my hair's longer.
Uh-huh.
I laugh so hard at that dumb show, and I do know that those guys are improvisers. I would love to do Workaholics.
Yeah.
Or a show that's similar to it.
That's cool. Let's see. James, will you ever beat Mitch in an arm wrestle?
If he ever gives me a chance. Ooh, look at this.
He will rip off my arm. Look at that mountain. 2 mountains.
Ow, it hurts to flex that hard. Shake it off, shake it off.
That one doesn't count. That's 2 questions.
That's too easy. The answer is he'll never give me a chance. He's afraid.
I'm a little afraid. It'd be really cool to see. That's not a question. How many videos do you reckon it will take James to beat Dark Souls 2? How many?
Twice as long.
Did it take you 200 to beat Dark Souls 1?
200. So probably 400-ish.
Oh, God.
But
it took the better part of a year for you to get through that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say it was the worst part of the year. It definitely took the worst part of a year.
Let's see. So we'll combine these and call it 3. Who's dubbing Toradora, Mitch? Bang Zoom is dubbing Toradora. It is being brought to you by Nippon Ichi America, which is I believe their first foray into dubbing anime. I think Toradora was their first anime that they put out. So yeah. As you've played Dark Souls 2, Mitch, have you found yourself saying to yourself, well, that's going to be a 50 death area for James. Yeah, I have actually. There's one boss that I had a lot of trouble on. But, here's the thing. The problem is that I don't have a Mitch over my shoulder who has already beaten the game giving me hints on how to beat each boss. James has the luxury of having me over his shoulder telling him how to beat each boss. So, theoretically, he should be able to beat all the bosses a lot easier than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically.
And I also have stretches that I do beforehand.
I do them too.
You do? Good. Yeah. I'm glad. I was
mean,
worried about you.
You'll get cramps if you don't.
There's too many professional gamers that end up breaking their fingers and their careers are shot.
All right, that's 4. Bro, do you even parry? I do parry.
Oh, that was a good 5th question. Out.
And we're done. I do parry. It's harder in Dark Souls 2, primarily because I don't know the attacks of most of the enemies, but I do try to parry whenever I can. We'll combine some of these. Will you guys ever do live Twitch walkthroughs like Dark Souls 2 and the New Dragon Age? Maybe. We're not quite sure. We got plans for Twitch coming up, but we just don't know exactly what form those plans are going to take yet. How's Eileen doing these days? I think she's doing fine. You saw her.
I just saw her 2 days ago.
yes,
2 days ago. And she was doing great.
Yeah, still working at the office. Still probably telling everyone what to do because she's the backbone of that office. This is a good. I think this is a good.
This is a great last question.
Mitch, can you indeed make that jump? And the answer is, I can make that jump. I can make that jump.
Thanks.
I can make that jump. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like,
comment,
and subscribe.
and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. All right. Where do we... There, that's the button we press. Stop stream.